Our video is the top performing video on YouTube, bar none right now. And they're not letting us trend at #1. And TUNECORE actually denied the release of the song.
You can make decisions about if my music can get distributed. Nah, fam, that's an issue.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers, in this wild world of hip-hop and hip-hop related stories, a very unlikely collaboration happened that has absolutely had people's panties in a twist. An artist named Tom MacDonald is a Canadian rapper known for addressing controversial social issues in his music, featuring Ben Shapiro, an American conservative commentator, founder of The Daily Wire, and host of The Ben Shapiro Show. Now, the reason why this was such a big deal is because they obviously both have two huge platforms. But with Ben Shapiro, look at this motherfucker. Look at this trolling ass. With Ben Shapiro, he's said some really disrespectful things, I feel like, to hip hop. The kind of stuff you heard in high school, rap is crap. It's not a real musical genre. So I think he's loving all the attention that is happening right now. Not that he needed. Of him being a part of a #1 record, especially with all the criticism that he has of rap music in general. And I won't even say that it's not rightfully so in some situations based upon content. However, we're not going to talk about their controversies as much as we're going to talk about something that was said in this interview with Tom MacDonald and Ben Shapiro about how TUNECORE tried to low-key gatekeep and block this song that went on to be the #1 song on iTunes from even happening on their distribution service. TUNECORE at it again.
Yo, it's my homie, Tom MacDonald. Tom, it's been a hell of a weekend. So, G,
the hell was that?
Tell me about how Fact is doing. It's #1 on the iTunes charts in the
So the song is called Fact, by the way.
United States. It's trending all the way up to #2 worldwide, but we're facing some entrenched opposition from members of the industry who don't like the insurgent campaign that we have been waging against them. They don't know the true artistry of hip hop, I think, from people. I don't think anyone expected me to just, be as amazing as I am at this, clearly. And I've got the bling to, I'm ready to go. I've been hitting all the clubs.
Bling is insane in 2024. Bling rolling off your lips is insane. Like saying that out loud.
Leading a new lifestyle. But we still have to overcome some obstacles, Tom.
Absolutely. Well, it's nice to see you entrenched in the culture. For your first step out the door, Ben, you absolutely killed it. We're #1 in all genres on iTunes, #2 worldwide on iTunes, which is unheard of, especially for somebody making their first rap song.
He sounded like he was rapping in ChatGPT. Like if ChatGPT, I know it's developing a voice, but if it was a male voice, I'm pretty sure it would be Ben Shapiro.
Nicki Minaj dropped her diss song today against Megan Thee Stallion, so we're up against some stiff competition. But thus far, we've held down that top spot. I don't think she's going to be able to shake us, man.
Let's talk about, all of the various algorithms that are now being used to suppress the song, because they really do not want us to hit #1 on the Billboard charts, obviously.
Well, it started before the song got even released. Obviously, I distribute all my music independently through TUNECORE, and TUNECORE actually denied the release of the song.
What?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You talking about that same TUNECORE that was accepting people's money, allegedly accepting people's money, having them on for a year, and then denying when they wanted to get the collaboration request with Grimes? We did a story about that. We reacted to that. I'm starting to feel like, man, Arsonist from the Heatmakers made a prophetic statement when he said, how can you call yourself independent when you are doing business with these entities that have more control over what you can do with your business than you? I'm starting to feel like, yes, I understand that we can champion being independent and say, yeah, this is the standard. This is what it is. But how independent? I don't feel very independent, knowing that I can distribute my music, my original music, that is sure to do well, because obviously Tom has done well for himself. Obviously, Ben has 6.7 million subscribers. I'm a little concerned about this independence that I so-called have when they can make a decision about the most important product in my whole catalog, my whole shit. You can make decisions about if my music can get distributed. Nah, fam, that's an issue.
Before the video release, before anybody even knew you were on the song, I had tried to submit and release the song through TUNECORE, and they turned it down, which is super frustrating because for an independent artist, TUNECORE exists as the alternative to getting a record deal, and they exist as the alternative to getting a distribution deal. They're supposed to be there for independent artists who are avoiding the mainstream record label system of the music industry. So they denied the song on account of lyrical content.
We're policing lyrical content now?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Have your opposition, because I have some of my own, right, with conservative viewpoints in general. Have your opposition if you want. But if it affects them, it for sure affects your black ass. I'm looking at myself in the reflection. It for sure affects you. If they can have a control upon whether or not your music goes out based upon lyrical content, you don't think they can come for your ass anytime they want to? Hey, yo, that is insane. But I want you to watch how they spin this, especially when you compare it to what's okay for us as African-American artists, as rappers, to push content-wise down the pipeline.
Before the song even hit the internet. So that was our first obstacle. We ended up getting the song to iTunes and Amazon and Spotify. We ended up getting it out, but the obstacles didn't stop there. Now, if you just take a quick peruse of the trending charts on YouTube right now, Megan Thee Stallion is at number 1, and our new video, Facts, is at number 2. And if you just take 2 seconds to look at the metrics on the video, we're outperforming her in every metric. We have over 1 million more views than her. We have 50,000 more comments than she has. We're outperforming. Her video is performing objectively worse than ours.
So one thing from my perspective that I wish we had more clarification on, and this is where I feel like reaction videos are very important. I know saying Meg Thee Stallion's name is going to help people get or gain a certain context, but what they're in competition with is not a Meg Thee Stallion in this situation. You're not in competition with the artists themselves. You're in competition with whatever company is conducting the business in these spaces, and also who their partners are. There's a reason why the powers that be cannot allow something like this with someone who is, obviously, you could tell by the jury, ain't no damn rapper. There's something about this that is bad for the zoomed out optics to have an artist that gets trumped by a Ben Shapiro. That is insane. The optics on that don't look so good because now you got listeners who are asking casual questions that they weren't asking before. Are y'all on the same level? This is my issue I've always had with comparing the value of one artist based upon another artist because of their Spotify listeners, as if this shit can't be bought.
And we're actually pulling ahead right now quite quickly. And the further we get in the lead, we're stuck at number 2. They're not allowing us to pass Megan and hit that number 1 spot. So, whether that's YouTube sort of disagreeing with the controversial nature of our song, or, Megan signed to Rock Nation. Rock Nation's part of Universal. Universal has a relationship with YouTube. And I'm sure that Universal has invested so much money into YouTube over the years that I don't know if there's some sort of backdoor agreement where they're saying like, hey, we don't care how many views these guys get. We don't care how viral.
You talking about that same UMG is getting bullied by TikTok, supposedly?
I am not a household name, but I rent a home. My 9 to 5 consists of making songs that are spiritual. I used to make music inside a bedroom that was minimal, in Downey, California, off of Lakewood and Imperial. I didn't have a budget, so it must have been a miracle. I did it with no corruption, and to me that point is pivotal. 20 years deep, and see, I still ain't reached my pinnacle, making indie look good. I'm a DIY centerfold. Please pull out your camera. This my picture pose. Seen rappers get signed because the grind was too difficult. Don't pay me no mind, that longer route was so intentional. It was all a design, and that's why I can sell these physicals. I'm really indie out my pockets even when it's slow. My money low, but now my palms feeling itchy though. I took my music off that streaming with a fishing pole. I took a stand and they can't stand, I ran up intervals, I've been a go. Bitch, I'm really indie though.
Megan is staying at number 1. In my best estimation, that's kind of what's going on. So our video is the top performing video on YouTube, bar none right now. And they're not letting us trend at number 1.
Anybody who has seen or heard the song that we put out, in the most offensive lines are things like, there are only 2 genders, boys and girls. Where'd all the American flags go? That's the offensive stuff. And then if you just, scroll over to Hiss, which is Megan Thee Stallion, This is like an actual lyric. This is the beginning of her song. Quote, I just want to kick this bleep off by saying F y'all. I ain't got to clear my name on an MFing thing. Every time I get mentioned, one of y'all BAN words get 24 hours of attention. So yeah, that's clearly saying there are not enough American flags is like exactly the same as whatever the hell it is that Megan Thee Stallion is doing. Clearly.
How do y'all feel about that? I had to really give this some thought since TUNECORE made the statement to Tom that his music was not allowed to be distributed through them because of lyrical content. The song itself speaks on hot topics in this era right now, the topics of gender and whether there's two genders versus some people who think that there's more than that. They talk about an appreciation for the flag, which they have all rights to talk about. That's more offensive than us calling ourselves niggas, bitches, drilling niggas. Why is that okay? And I say nigga in my music. Don't get it twisted. Didn't Ice Spice just release something that say you not the shit, you a fart? Like, why is that's all right behavior. That's good for us. That's good for us. That's okay for us. It's just things that make you go, huh?
In our song, I think in the pre-chorus, we talked about not promoting guns. We talked about not promoting drugs. We talked about not turning people's sons into thugs and their daughters into hoes. And, we sort of spoke out against like what the status quo in hip hop is. And for some reason, we're living in some sort of upside down, backwards freak show. And it just seems like the most destructive material. Hip hop is full of a lot of destructive material. The promotion of violence, the romanticizing of mental health and prescription drugs recreationally. It seems like those things tend to get the most mainstream attention.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
It's not always easiest to digest a message like this from someone who doesn't look like us. And not to say like they have all the answers and that they're perfect in everything that they're doing, but it's not always easy to accept that conversation. But I believe that we are moving towards a time period where we're just not going to blurt out the same arguments we always do. It is just an expression. Y'all are trying to quiet us. There is no longer a balance specifically in hip hop or rap music. There's no longer a balance that there once was. It's not a Tribe Called Quest to balance out an NWA. It is only one end of the spectrum being talked about, and he's already talking on it. Using guns recklessly, killing for no reason, the over-sexualization of women. We're letting all of these contents continue to dominate. We're allowing these to happen like it's okay and normal. It's crazy because like I am a rapper. I enjoy a lot of ignorant shit. I do. But at a certain point, I need a break. At a certain point, it's almost like eating a bunch of junk food. I need to get my ass in the gym.
Anything that speaks out against that, especially in our case, has been suppressed. Yeah, it's like it's almost as if they want to sort of indoctrinate the demographic for hip hop is like 19 to 35-year-old white American youth. Like that's the primary demographic. It almost seems like there is a conscious effort to sort of destroy and dismantle and dilute that generation. And anything else, I would argue to say that our song is actually the total opposite of that. It's empowering people. It's hopefully encouraging people to stand up and speak their mind and not be afraid to have an unpopular opinion or be quote unquote offensive. It seems like those things are sort of, they try to hide them and they sort of shove this other destructive material into those kids' faces. And, I was one of those kids at one point in time. When I started making music, that's the music I was listening to. And that led me to years and years and years of alcoholism and poor mental health and all types of things. So I know firsthand how destructive that content can be. We've made a conscious effort to sort of combat that in our music. And we're the ones that are being suppressed on the YouTube charts and refusing to release our music through TUNECORE. It really is like some sort of upside down, backwards freak show.
If it can happen to them, it can happen to any of us. Because there's more than enough money that can be made with having those two names come together. Unless you're speaking on things that fall in line my generation, and especially this one afterwards, because they're asking all kind of questions that we never asked. Some of us didn't have the balls to ask in our era. They're asking questions now. They're looking at this shit and saying, that don't really make sense to me no more. Nah. If you can talk to me a certain way as a parent and tell me you ain't nothing, you ain't gonna be nothing, you're stupid. That is programming. If programming can work in that way, why couldn't programming work in what you're listening to? Especially when it's catchy, it's meant to be memorable, it's meant to be sticky, it's meant to be as a part of your natural conversations in your head. That's what it's meant to do, so that it makes you want to buy more of that music, consume more of that music. If that is a possibility, if we repeat something over and over and over again and it becomes a mantra, why in the hell, whether it's hip hop, metal, whether it's punk, whatever, no matter what it is, why in the hell do we think that music is not powerful enough to shift the conversation, to shift the way somebody makes decisions? It's easy to call them crazy and deflect them. It's easy to do that. We've been doing that. We can't do that anymore because the stakes are higher now. They're more predatory than they've ever been. And when we have these arguments that water down by saying, well, look what metal's doing. Look at the active shooters. Look at this. We never get anywhere. We end up talking about the same thing 365 days from now. Nah. Is it perfect? No. Is their argument perfect? No. But the conversation must change. And if it happens to them, damn it can happen to any of us. So I don't agree with all the talking points that I hear from a Ben Shapiro. I don't really know Tom's music like that. I've seen some clips and I can understand why people get so offended by some of the things that they see that he says. I get it. We're living in a time where people are hypersensitive and there are outlets that are willing to listen to everybody. That's a pro and that's a con at times, because sometimes you can listen to people with unhealed trauma who are trying to make you adjust to their world, and it just doesn't work like that in life. So with that said, we are living in a time where questions are being asked, and not just by someone like me, but by some people that are much younger than me, who are like, this doesn't make sense. Why is it okay to suppress this, but you're allowing me to listen to music on a regular basis that makes me feel less than? If I don't have these things, if I'm not this kind of a person, if I'm not a real man unless I stand on business in this way, why are we allowed to call ourselves, demean ourselves any damn way? And that's not suppressed. TUNECORE is not jumping up in front of that bullet, but let it be something that's probably opposite of their politics and what they want to stand for. And it's no. That don't bother nobody else but me. I know I'm not the only one in that one. Those are my thoughts on that one, DIYers. You let me know your thoughts. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.